Raw talk.
Raw talk, not food.
This is so fun today.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We have Kayla here today. She's a friend of mine. She's nervous as hell. So everybody, we're going to spill some tea today. Why are you nervous, Kayla?
Yes.
I don't really talk about dating.
Oh, yes. We are talking about
media.
dating today. The fun part is I know a lot about your background, but
Yeah.
Vanessa is going to be curiosity with the rest
I'm
of
going to
our
be nosy.
listeners
I have
today.
license to nosy it up.
Love it. Here we go. I love this. So like Kayla said, we're going to talk about dating.
Yeah.
Kayla's an entrepreneur, and everybody that can see on YouTube, if you're watching, you should watch. She has a company called GLAZED. So all the products here, Vanessa's going to go through that today because you love yourself some
'Cause I'm
product.
a product whore, and I love it.
Yes. So fun. So yeah,
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
Hi, Kayla.
Hi.
So dating.
Yes.
Well, let me just start by saying I don't know about dating because I think I was the worst dater ever possible. I think I went to...
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're so monogamous for sure.
I went on 4 dates my entire life.
Seriously?
And they were all bad because of me. Not
4
because
dates?
of them. Yeah.
That's it? You've only been on 4 dates?
Forever, and they were really bad. In fact, I pulled, the Sex of the City episode where somebody she called somebody and pretended it was like her roommate saying, "Hey, you gotta blah, blah, blah." I totally pulled that because it was like 5 minutes, and within 5 minutes, I was like, okay, I know it's going to be a free meal, but I'd still rather be home watching TV, chilling with my
that's a
roommates.
bad
and everything.
date. Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing wrong with him. I was just not into it. And I was like over it. And probably in that space of my life, I just wasn't really into it, So I did that. I pretended there was some some horrible dater. So that being said.
Well, backtrack. You and Malcolm have been together, what? 35 years? It's awesome.
100 years. We just celebrated our 15-year anniversary.
Oh, that's right.
okay.
Yes.
That being
15.
said, yes, exactly. That being said, we've been together 17, but we've known each other since college. So 20-something.
Kayla, she dated before all the apps, right?
Yeah. So this is all, and the dating back then.
phones?
But back then it was all very like, let's go out in a group. If I like you, there's a natural vibe. And then you just kind of call each other, and you still have to go through the did he call? She called. There was no texting. There was none of that stuff. So
they
you had
wait
to go through
3 days before they call.
Yeah, no. It was just, and generally it came through friends. So that's why when it was an actual dating thing, it was like, oh, I don't like this. I just don't like this process.
Well, let's ask you, is there a lot of pressure with dating? I remember when I was dating, it was a full-time job.
Well, okay. Well, this is my
go
thing.
for
Okay,
it.
so that was dating then.
Back to me, everybody.
Dating now is a whole other situation. It's like a other world. It's a process. Mm-hmm. So when did that happen, and why? And how do you even approach it? Because I can remember being puberty, going oh my God, boys. And now even my niece goes onto apps to meet folks.
Yeah. I want to say it was maybe when I graduated college, they had Match.com, JDate, eHarmony, all that stuff. And then now they have Tinder, Bumble, Grindr, Hinge. I think they're kind of trash, but then I also kind of brain dump on them because...
Yeah.
What's the cool one now, Kayla?
Yeah, what's the one?
Two married lady here asking.
I don't know.
What do you like?
I don't like any of them.
Okay.
But I also work from home before COVID, and I don't really see anybody, so
Necessary
that's kind
evil.
of my option. I've met people through friends, and that got a little awkward too, so.
Okay, so how does it start now? What's the approach if you're at home and you get on an app?
Yeah, so they have the apps, which from a female's perspective, most guys on there are just looking to fuck.
Yes, they're looking to just hook up and fully.
Yeah.
I remember what they used to say about JDate, because when we lived in New York City, everyone was like, "Oh, want to get on tonight?" And then they would just jump
You're
on
not
and
Jewish. You can't get on JDate.
It didn't matter though. You could
really?
just get on and
Okay.
That
All right.
apparently was. I used to bartend too, so you could hear people talking about it all day.
Yeah, so I'm personally not a fan, but I also don't really know what else to do because you can't really go out and meet people now. You have to go to a bar and sit at your table with who you came with.
Yeah,
so
true.
it's hard to see a cute guy from across the room and not do anything about it.
Right.
So let me ask, I went on, okay, so I met my husband on a dating site, which is OkCupid.
Oh, yeah.
The interesting part, though, is I was on for one day. That's it. It was like my girlfriend and I jumped on and I was like, oh, I'll go on with you. And
that
then I
one's
met
also
him.
very shady now, too.
It's very OkCupid shady now. I know,
yeah.
that was like 5 years ago. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so OkCupid shady now, apparently. And then I remember Grindr being at a table, and that's the gay one, right? That's a gay dating site. But I remember.
And that is scandalous, I know.
But you can see where the person is, though.
Yeah.
Because I remember being with a guy, and I was hanging out with him, a gay guy, and we were just hanging out, and then he was like, oh, the guy that I want, like the guy that was supposed to go on a date with me, is over there at the same restaurant. And he was like freaking out because the guy lied to him and said he wasn't available.
Oh, it tells
And
you the exact location.
Apparently, that's what happened because he all walled out and threw like water in his face. I guess they were dating. Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's the first time I ever learned about sites. It was like 8 years ago. I was like, this is fun. But I don't think you can do that on.
Well, Bumble gives you like their location. So
Okay.
I had a really creepy encounter with this guy who was out here. Apparently, he was from Dublin.
Ooh.
It said that he was 5 miles away in Inglewood. Okay. But he told me he was back in Dublin,
No.
which made no sense. So he's sending me all these like inappropriate voice messages, and
Sure.
I'm kind of just like entertaining him just to see how far he'll take it. And finally he said something, and I was like, oh, that's cute. Deleted me.
Good.
No.
But you set your boundaries, though.
Yeah.
That's good. Like I feel like you're smart when you date.
Well,
Well,
I
yeah,
am
okay,
now.
so how do you approach...
I am now. There you go.
But that's the thing. How do you approach? So you fill in a profile.
Yeah, so you create your profile. Some of them ask you a bunch of questions, and
Right.
you can pick the answers. Or
But you
some
can
people
create-
don't say anything.
You could create a fake person, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Like
like catfishing, Vanessa.
Yes. Although, working
that-
in social
oh, that
media,
makes sense
I will
now.
never
Now I
get
know, okay.
catfished. I'll always find you.
Kayla does her work. Let me tell you, she's good.
So what is the strangest thing that's ever happened to you?
I don't know if it was the strangest, but I would say the worst date
Yeah.
was we actually met on Match.com.
Okay.
He was supposed to meet up with me in Santa Monica. He bailed. I was kind of like, okay, whatever. Called me the next day, said he was going to a bar down the street from me and asked me to come. He was with his friends for a hockey game. I didn't want to go. My friend said, just go. You'll have fun. So I go. I'm calling him because I've never met him to come out and get me. He wouldn't answer the phone. So finally he comes out, brings me to the table, barely introduces me, and doesn't talk to me the whole time. So I'm like making friends with all these people I don't know. So order my own drink, which is fine because
No, it's
Okay.
not. Okay, go on. Sorry.
I mean,
I'm old school.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
he's talking with me and I can tell something's a little off. And so we all move from this table to a seated area, and he starts asking me the same questions he just asked me 10 minutes ago. So I was like, are you high? Like, we've literally already had this conversation.
right.
So he goes and sits across the room, not even next to me. The food comes, and he's sitting there. He grabs pizza from some girl that orders pizza. He starts picking at his feet. He takes his feet out of his shoes, not
Picking
flip-flops.
at his. Okay. I'm
Is he
sorry.
on
And
acid?
Pizza. Oh,
Was what?
Is he on acid or something?
I thought he was on coke. I don't know.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Starts picking at his feet, eating his chicken
No,
wings,
stop
talking.
it.
His sauce is flying everywhere. The girl next to me looked at me and she said, "Girl, you better run."
Run.
I
Yes.
texted my friend. I said, "I have an emergency. I need you to come get me," because I didn't want to wait for an Uber and have
Sure.
him chase me out. So she
Ugh.
came and picked me up and took me home.
Disgusting. And you never heard
Oh
from
my
him
God.
again. Thank
No,
God.
I blocked him everywhere. And then I
Good.
saw him somewhere. Oh, on Hinge, because it says my worst date experience, and it was him.
Oh, I love it. You put it on there.
Nice. Good.
Oh my
Okay.
God. That is something. Kayla has what is it called? Kiss. What is it? I always forget.
Oh, How Many Frogs LA.
How good is
I
that?
have a
.com.
blog.
Oh, that's good.
That's a blog. How many frogs LA.com.
Well, that's the thing. So LA is also a peculiar. I'm saying that wrong. Can't use my words. Weird because everybody else talks about, oh, you can never get anywhere with LA. Even like New York is better dating in New York versus because guys
Is
do
it?
more work
I don't
there.
know.
We're here, the guys are like chased after.
I feel like in LA, everyone's looking for their next opportunity. So commitment's an issue because they think they're going to find someone better. So they don't want to commit to you. You might be great, but I might find someone better than you. So my friend made a comment that, it's great to be talking to people on dating apps, but just always remember that they're probably talking to multiple other people.
Oh, for sure.
It's like the BBD, the bigger, better deal.
Yeah.
Well,
right?
how does that make you feel?
Not great. I mean, I run 2 businesses. I don't have time to mess around with these idiots and play games. And so I just don't really date very often.
You're good at knowing the flags. I feel like you've been on long
Well, I have
enough
my personal red flags.
You have your, So what are red flags?
On a dating app. So my red flags are shirtless photos.
Oh, in the mirror?
Yeah.
Kayla, why, men out there, why do you do that? Ask your brother, ask your friends. Why do men do this?
Well, it's fine if you're like at the beach, but if it's like a random shirtless photo.
And you're doing it on purpose? Like
in the mirror, too. Like in your bathroom.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's the other one. The bathroom selfies. So
You're thinking of my brother. I'm sorry.
I don't think Louis, my brother. And we forgot to tell you. So Kayla Perlstein over here. I know Kayla through my brother Louis. And so, you guys, more of his tea than me. But I don't know if Louis has selfies in the mirror. Does he? I know some of your friends do that I look at. Every time I see someone in the mirror.
But then there's the people that take the photo in the mirror where it's not even a selfie. They just hold the camera up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they know that the camera flips around. And but the best is when it's not even their bathroom. It's like a corporate bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
An airport bathroom. Like you can't take a picture anywhere else but there.
Could not find anywhere else.
Yeah. Then there's the picture with like a celebrity. Like you're not friends with them and you don't know them.
I hate that. So, I hear Lefty. I hear babies crying Lefty. See, this is where we're at. This is
the busy house. So sorry.
I love it. You'll be here soon one day, Kayla. Yeah. It's so funny because everybody sees like the other side of things. They're like, oh, I don't want to be single and dating. But then, then they get married and then they're bored. So it's like, enjoy every process like that life takes you on.
Life is the process.
Mm-hmm. Every step along the way.
Okay, so red flags. So, topless photos.
Yeah, bathroom selfies.
Mm-hmm. Bathroom selfies, yes.
Celebrity photos.
That's a good one.
Celebrity cameos.
Yes.
Guys with cats are a red flag for me.
She hates guys with cats.
No.
Yeah,
no, she
and
won't,
my
she won't
friend said that was stupid of me to say because it's a small issue and I would be upset if people wrote me off for a small issue. I said I understand that, but
those are deal breakers.
Yeah,
everyone has weird
I
ones.
have dated guys with cats and they've all been weird. Every single one of them.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if I ever dated a guy with a cat. I don't think I've ever dated.
Yeah, because they have dogs like normal people.
Or some of them, I don't even know how they took care of themselves, let alone anything, like a plant. Those are the kind of men I used to date. Okay, so those are red flags. I was just trying to think for me. Another one is I don't know about you. You tell me. I know we're in 2020 now. I would never be good on Bumble because Bumble is where the woman reaches out to the man first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I won't
but
do it.
But they feel safer that way. That's what I
understand that, but I hear Carla, my mother's voice in my head, being like, men need to come to you first. But I guess you can just wave, right, on Bumble first.
You can say whatever you want, but then I've heard from guys that they get upset when girls don't put enough thought into the message. And so how am I supposed to put thought into a message when you don't put thought into your profile and it's only photos? What?
Well, okay, so this is the weird thing about dating in LA. What I've heard from friends is that it's so easy for the guys in Los Angeles because of what you said.
Oh, yeah.
That they don't have to do any work whatsoever. In fact, they feel like the girl has to do all the work, which is so opposite to what I grew up with.
Right.
And was kind of taught how to like deal with, I mean, not to say that there are gender roles and male versus female and stuff, but there are certain things that, at least that's how I was raised. Like, the guy should do this.
Absolutely.
And you should allow
be
this.
A man.
Or be, yeah. But it's all changed. It's a little bit different.
Like, what does a man mean? I'll tell you exactly what man means.
And you want equality. You want half and half. You want split and all those different things.
I agree.
So I'm not trying to be hypocritical or anything. But there has to be some kind of work done by the guy. The guy can't just sit there and think, because it comes from it comes entitled, like the energy is entitled and very like
I think a lot
smarmy.
of the issue is that guys are just looking to have sex and girls are looking for more of a commitment, whether they say they are or not.
True.
A lot of girls will say they're just looking to hook up, but then
yes,
it goes another direction. I have a really good relationship with my father. My friends used to joke that I had daddy issues in a good way because we are so close and we talk all the time. Sure. So I feel like I am subconsciously looking for somebody like that, as creepy as it sounds.
Like a good guy.
It's values.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a high level of respect. I like that.
So you're not from LA. Where are you from?
I was born in New Jersey, grew up in Alabama.
Okay. That is completely different from, you say Jersey and I'm thinking, okay, Jersey girl. And then you say Alabama and I'm like, how did that happen?
She's Jewish.
Yeah.
From
in Alabama.
Right?
How did that work?
Oh.
There's a bigger Jewish community than you would think, but our family is more cultural and traditional, so I'm not personally super religious. I don't date Jewish guys. I have dated Jewish guys. Sure. They never ended really well. But dating in the South was very difficult because most people's profiles said, you know, like, God is number one. Yes. They're all about their Lord and Savior, which is fine, but I'm not religious at all, so I'm not jumping on that bandwagon.
Have you ever liked a guy, but he was really religious, and he was like, "You got to be Christian"? Or, really? And
I've had people ask if I would convert. Like, no.
Right? Yeah.
Have you ever met the guys that are all about their Lord and Savior, but then when it gets down to the personal, they're so not?
Hypocrites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just dirty and like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to date a Mormon, okay? I'm not kidding. He was like, I'm a Mormon, but I have belly. And I was like, I can't, okay. But then I saw him have a baby in his arms, his sister's baby in his arms, and have a beer in his hand and like punch out another guy. I was like, you're Mormon, bro? Like, there's something wrong here. Like, where's the value system? So
guys will say what they think you want to hear to get what they want. And that's what I've learned.
Now,
yes.
Okay. However, I'm gonna get real controversial right now.
Okay.
Because I'm old school. Okay. So bring it right on the YouTube page, on our YouTube, right into Instagram, all of that. You tell me. I understand that women are leaders. We're incredible. We're awesome. However, I do believe at the end of the day, a man needs to be a man and a woman needs to be a woman. And I'm going to say this because if you are with somebody just with testosterone alone, very heavy. My husband has very heavy testosterone. And there's a lot of men that may not, which is fine. And there's a lot of women and the gender roles and all of that can go out the window. But there needs to be a place where one person, it needs to be defined. So if a woman is working, doing the work, and then the husband stays home and takes care of the kids and he's cool with that, that's cool. So those roles need to be established, right? But if you have two people coming together, you're going to butt heads if you're not very defined with the roles. I'll tell you another thing. Women have oxytocin. So we have a chemical in our body that's released when we have sex. And men don't have that. And so whether you hate the guy or not, you can say, oh yeah, I'm not really connected to the guy. There is a hormone that is released. And men do not have that. And so what I feel is that I've seen a lot of women be like, I'm just going to go over and have sex with him. And then they do. But then they go, well, how come he hasn't called? I really wanted to hang out with him. And I was like, because you fucked him. You gave him exactly what he wanted. And then what is there to chase? What is there to work for at the end of the day? Because I think men are gatherers. They're hunters at the end of it. And they want a woman. Pat Allen said this. I don't know if anybody out there knows Pat Allen, but she's this old school, like, thought leader of, you know, relationships and comes from, like, an old school generation. And she said, men fall in love with virtue, not vagina.
Okay.
And I think when you give
like
it
there's
too
those women
easy,
that they sleep with, and then there's the woman that they take home to meet mama.
And I think, yeah, and I'm not against having sex with a guy the first night and having a long relationship with him.
Right.
However, you got to be clear about a woman because we're entered. Men enter us, right? So it's our choice at the end of the day. So if you just want to fuck a guy and leave, that's cool. You know what I mean? But if you want a long-lasting relationship, know where you want to walk into it and be in it with. Does that make sense, right, Lefty? You feel me? I just come from this place, and you guys debate me all day. It's all good. This is the fun house. But this is where I'm at. I'm at the place where if I would have met my husband and had sex with him the first night, I actually said that to him. I said, if we have sex tonight, the first night, I will have sex with you, but I will never talk to you again. Because I wanted to see how far he would test my limits. And he didn't test my limits. And then I went, okay, let the chase and dance begin. And then I respected him more. I don't know. That's just me. Well, I would have had sex with him the first night. That's fine. But then I wouldn't have gone against my own thing. It's just I'm seeing too many women wanting to be the man, walking in. I get that we have everything in line. We're so evolved. We're so amazing as women. However, I don't know what kind of man you're looking for, but I like having a partner. I like having a man that makes me feel protected. At the end, they're bigger than us. Like at the end of the day, they're stronger physically.
Yes,
I think we wipe out men mentally.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
I do, but I don't know. That just take that. I'm just old school like that because.
Well, I would tweak that.
Okay, tweak it. Tell me. I'll go. That's my totally old school.
Oh, you go first. Go.
Bring it.
I mean, I was in a relationship going back to the gender roles where it was not a healthy relationship. We were together for 3 years. He held money over my head. And I was in a situation where I wasn't happy with my job. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And there was no support from him on what I wanted to do. And not that I was trying to be the man, but I'm also not going to be this housewife that's going to sit at home and take care of the kids.
I agree with that.
My parents raised me a certain way, and that's just how I am. I was working when I was like 8 years old at their store, like playing on the register. And I mean, like we always had jobs when we were young, and my dad was like, you need to be working 40 hours a week. And, but, and so that's just how we were raised. So I don't like to be told what to do. I don't like to be put in a situation where I don't feel, confident maybe is the word, or like I have a say in anything.
Yeah.
So that's where I didn't agree with those gender roles, but I somewhat agree with what you're saying, if that makes sense.
I think the idea of the gender roles, it's like, I make my own money as well. Like, I can't have a man putting money over my head. I can't. I'll find a way. And I've had that before where they put it over my head and I'm just like, and then what? You want sex from me after you shaming me about me feeling, you know what I mean? I'm not just going to give it up to you. I'm not the little lady. And then I'm not going to make your dinner every night, Yeah. But I do think that I enjoy, I don't know. I like being soft. And I feel like if you can find a person that makes you soft in a sweet way that nobody else sees,
sure,
that's the right balance. Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
I don't think women should be tough. I think men can do that whole testosterone, ego, tough, I'm the man thing. But I see women tough all the time with their husbands, and I'm like, you're with the wrong man because there's not enough romance going on. There's not enough sensitivity. Does that make sense? And then,
well, I mean, this is where
I'm all
I
over
would.
the place.
Well,
Tell me.
This is where that's why I would tweak it somewhat.
Tweak
because
it, please.
Sometimes,
Tell me.
Because I understand what you're saying. You're saying there's the traditional like provider role versus the homemaker role, right? And who fills in that? Like, if you think it needs to be the man.
That's not what I'm saying it completely wrong.
Okay.
No, because no man's ever paid for me fully. There's no way. And I don't do dishes and I'm not, no. What I'm just saying is I'm so assertive and strong as a woman that I've had to learn how to, at moments, pick my battle and be backseat a little bit to my husband in moments.
Sure. Compromise. That's what marriage is about, folks.
Right. But I have a lot of testosterone. I'm female testosterone, right? So I can be like, I got this. But I've enjoyed that my husband has come in because I have a dad that never did anything really to be a dad. He's kind of like a kid himself, 80% hard of hearing. He's a good guy, but he never was like, let me protect you. Let me help you. You know what I mean? In certain ways that a dad, that gender, like that stereotype should be is like daddy's girl. I don't know what that is. Mm-hmm. So I always was doing things for him and doing. And so it's nice to have.
You parented your parent. That's a whole other show.
I'm still parenting my parents.
Okay.
I love them to death. They taught me a lot, but come on. But it's been nice, if that makes sense, for me to sit back and go, okay, he's got that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I feel like that's where I allow him to be a man.
Yeah.
Like, he takes out the trash. If there's something going on in the neighborhood, he's got my back. Like, he walks.
But you could take the trash out too.
1,000%. Right. But if he's like, I want to do this for you, I can go, okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't used to do that. I used to go, I got it. I'm good. But then where is his place in my life then?
Yeah, but that's you allowing somebody in your life as a life partner.
Right.
So as far as like the gender roles, I guess that's where I got confused.
I think that's where I'm confused. Like, I'm still calling people that are...
A man's got to be a man. I'm like, yeah, they are. But now that like, that's the big thing, right? People, like men now are kind of confused.
I'm
Well, I
confused,
also
obviously.
think from like the shitty situations that I've been in dating wise, they have made me really hard. So I'm not soft when I go meet a new person because my guard is unfortunately up.
Right.
Yeah. No, understand.
Which sucks for that person, but
Yeah.
And then now we're also, women are so like made to be, like, I was raised by really strong women and about having to be independent, always have your own money, like, you know, all that kind of thing. You can do it on your own. So that when it was about coming together with my husband partnership, it was about allowing those spaces where it all kind of meets, right? So finding that compromise, which is difficult, which is marriage. But it's worth it, right? Because you love each other and you want to help each other and you grow together and all that kind of stuff. But as far as those generals of providing and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. It's weird now because you have to balance it out. And so that's why when it comes to like dating, it was always confusing back then too, because you just kind of, it was more natural. I feel like when we were meeting each other and dating and stuff like that. But now with apps, like signing up and putting my own personality, I could fake it, I could lie. What if you have a wrong sense of self?
most girls do.
Right.
Or they
And
go
so
on
they-
the
exactly
apps
right.
and there's all these other apps that you can use to totally change your face or your body, and then people meet you and they're like,
And
And
then
then-
let's talk about that. That's not fair. Because I hear
No.
a lot of men shaming women because they're like, I left that date and that F her and all that, and they're angry.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, and women do that with men too.
Right.
Men get real angry about that.
Yeah.
However, it's a lie. You're starting off being a liar if you're going to change your face and you're not going to be honest about how you, right?
right,
Isn't
but
that-
at the same time, do your research. Like, find them on social media.
Googles.
There you
Or
go.
Google
Get on the
or
Googles.
There you
LinkedIn. I will never get catfished. And I had a friend ask me, have you ever been catfished? And I was like, no, because I'll figure out where you work and I'll look shit up and I'll find you, because that sounds really creepy, but
No, it's smart.
I don't want to meet up with some random person or have a situation. I used to take all my dates to the same bar in West Hollywood because I knew everyone that worked
That's
there.
smart.
And they could
Yeah.
look out for you too. Yeah, that's a big thing for dating too, is about safety in terms of women. And that's the difference there with men and women. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
no
Rush
hike.
Street in Culver City?
Yes.
There was a bartender. I used to. Sorry, honey, out there, everybody. I didn't sleep with any of them. My husband, but he used to have this little white paper when we'd come in. He'd be like 7. Ferrigno, that's a 4. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, he was married. He was great, but it's smart, Kayla. Yeah, bringing
Yeah,
guys.
well,
yeah.
you never want to go on a hike on a first date or go to someone's house. I don't understand how
No,
people
why
do
would
that.
you go to the house?
People do that.
People do that all the time. In us.
That was- Because they
Especially
just wanna-
with COVID, which is like even worse.
Yeah.
No.
Is
Yeah,
that what that
sorry.
means? If somebody just now, I don't know anything after those gender roles and stuff. Okay, so does that mean that the person automatically wants you to sleep with them?
I mean, maybe. I'm
Isn't
just
that
not
a
trying to
big
die.
assumption, right? Say what?
I don't want to die, so I'm going to be in a public place
Yeah,
where there's lots of people.
smart.
Not to be like pushed off.
I mean,
a
do
cliff.
you put up on the first date? Or do you
I?
have a rule on that? Yeah.
I have before, and I was
Sure.
actually talking to a guy friend of mine, and I asked, is it worse? Or I said, what are your thoughts on you sleeping with someone on a first date, and if that girl sleeps with you on a first date?
Yes.
And he was saying that it depends on the situation, but also it's kind of a double standard, which I also
Yep.
don't really think is very fair.
No, it's not.
I don't really want to wait around for a month to find out you suck in bed. But I'm
Well-
not going to put out on the first night.
I agree. I mean, I'll admit I was easy. I would. But then I was also, I mean, it's weird because you want to think, well, I have power too. What if I want to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's
Well,
wrong
if
with
that's
that?
your plan, like, do you?
Yeah.
But if you do that expecting to have a relationship and then it doesn't work out, you can't get mad about it.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
Yes. Yeah,
I never did that.
Like
Yeah,
when a
I
person
was
tells you who they are,
clear.
listen. Because
Yeah.
some guys are just like, I want to have sex. And then the girls are like, yeah, I just want to have sex too. And then they're crying that they never called. I'm like, that's not the agreement. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I had a situation like that in college, but there were zero feelings on either. And I can say that honestly.
Was the sex good?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But
You didn't
he was
repeat
like
it?
dumb as bricks. Really hot, but,
Yeah.
you know,
That's really unattractive. He probably
And that's
has a lot of
okay.
selfies in
That
the
must have
mirror
been
now.
fun.
he got fat.
That always feels so good. I'm sorry. All my exes out there, sometimes I'm like, ooh, bye. Seriously. Okay, so we go from Alabama to Los Angeles, and then everyone is like, "Oh, it's so much easier dating here. It's so much." I think going back to what I was saying earlier, and then I'll shut up to prove my case here, to prove my point, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, no matter who you are, you need to know your values.
Yes.
You need to know what you're going to allow.
Yes.
It's your body. It's your time. And you can't be upset when someone tries to cross those boundaries with you, because that's what people do, especially people that you don't know.
They're non-negotiables.
They're non-negotiables. Exactly. And then you're smart enough to have lived through so much that you're like, that's my red flag right now. And you own it if you don't like cats. You'd be like, no, that's creepy. And some other girl will be like, I love it. That's perfect. That person should go with that person. You know what I mean? But you shouldn't have friends. Do you have friends that try to shame you and go, you're too picky?
Oh, yeah.
Right. I don't think that's fair either.
Do you think you're too picky?
Do what?
Do you think you're too picky?
Yes. But I've also, for example, I wouldn't date someone under 5'8". But then I went on a couple dates with a guy who's like 5'2", and it was great, and we're still friends, and people are like, 5'2"? I'm 5'4".
Right.
So what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm thinking outside the box. Maybe I missed a great guy who was shorter than me. And
right.
I mean, it didn't work out, but we're friends, and
well, that's good.
It is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So it popped in my head while you were talking. I'm like, it's agreements. Like, if you're talking about a real relationship, if you're just dating, you know what I mean? You have to have agreements with yourself and just make clear decisions, because you're only really in a relationship with yourself, right? When you're dating. But when you're looking to be like with somebody, you know, or it's getting serious or something, then you have to have agreements. Be like, this is how we do it. That's when you know, like, there's some simpatico, like we like to have our lunches here, and he does that, and I do this, and we do this for each other, and you know, that's agreements. I wouldn't necessarily say there are gender rules in that way, but then one person falls into and the other, and the whole bit like that. So
yeah, I mean, I think on top of what you said, at the end of the day, you have to be happy with yourself to be happy with someone else.
Yeah,
or it's just never going to work.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then I have a friend of mine who's very into love languages. So she likes to know, she'll ask everyone, what are your love languages? And she'll talk about what hers are, because...
What are yours?
Sometimes it doesn't work. I'm a giver, so I think acts of service and gift giving, are those the same?
Yeah.
Who does that work with? What language does that work with? Another gift giver for affirmation?
I think you want someone that has a different love language.
Okay.
So maybe, I mean, I like physical touch from someone else.
Yes.
But not like extra PDA, because it creeps me out. But
I'm pretty similar in that way.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then in terms of receiving too, I also, and it's so crazy because you think it's selfish, but I also like gifts.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But that's how you receive love. And that the thing about,
could be a little flower someone picks for you.
Yeah.
It's a thought. It's thoughtfulness, right?
So it's doesn't love languages work like if it doesn't matter which ones go with each other, but more so that the people in the relationship understand what they are, so they work with each other. So like if we were in a relationship and yours is giving, you would give to me, and or my language is affection. You give me affection. That's how I feel love. And then for you, I would give you like gifts or time. Quality time is a language too. I love quality time.
Yeah.
So then I would give you quality time, and then that's how we feel the love around. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think it's important to, it's again, what we were just talking about is being clear about who you are,
right?
What you're coming in with, and what you need, and if the other person respects you enough to go, I'm not really good at knowing how to do that, but let me try. You know, like that's because we talked about it in another podcast where my husband is very like British, so I'm like, I made the
totally
food,
different,
and I did, and he's like, cheers, and I'm like, cheers is not a full thank you. It's not, oh, this is delicious. He's like, I haven't even tried it yet, you know. I haven't even. But I was like, I need that after. He's like, why do you need that? I was like, just give it to me, you know. But from him, I do. I don't need it from the rest of the
Affirmations
world.
are important. Yeah.
But he doesn't mean to be rude. He's just like, it's great, but he doesn't need that. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't need me to go.
If he loves you, he needs to give you your love language, which is what that's about.
And this is what we're talking about. If the person loves you enough
Chris,
to try to understand, he's working on exactly. He's working on it, but that's what we're talking about. But also being clear, what you said, being clear about walking into a relationship and knowing what you want and being able to communicate that with somebody. Because
So
if
how
you
does-
can't.
How does that work with dating?
It's interesting, and I've told you this before, and your brother. So, the last guy that I dated, I did not realize how shitty of a person he was until Louis and I just started hanging out more as friends. And there's little things that he would do, even just as a friend, that I never got from a boyfriend. And it like blew my mind that somebody, it was simple things. I think you started to say it walking down the side of the street.
Yeah.
He always makes sure I'm on the inside.
Of course.
Or if we pass somebody,
See, now
he
that's
makes
a
sure
male
he's
thing.
next to them.
Yes.
Thank
I know
you.
that's what we like.
the protection.
Yes.
Yeah, going back, ladies,
Yeah.
so
So
you're not
that's-
hating me on YouTube right now
No.
on our Instagram page.
Yeah, I get it.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
Yes.
a non-negotiable for me now. Is
It's
the
a thoughtful.
riots broke out, and that it was that night, and he was like, "You're not going anywhere." He pulled out all of his
Sexy,
tools.
see?
But then I was supposed to do dinner with my ex, and I was like, "Are you okay if I crash? I don't feel comfortable driving home with the curfews." And
Yeah.
it was like a situation for him. Even if I just slept on the couch.
No.
It
Really?
was like he had to think about it. Whereas someone like Louis was like, "No, that's it. Like, you're not going to be in harm's way."
Oh, I love Louis. He's very sensitive and thoughtful that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
because
He's
we had
a
a
great
mother
guy.
that made him be like that. Be
Yeah.
like, no, this is what you
No,
do
it's
to
very,
a woman. This
parenting
is-
does say a lot.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But that's being a good friend as well.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know?
and he's
Yeah.
a great friend, and I
Yeah.
think having the support from a partner is something that I also need. That's a non-negotiable for me.
Yes.
I work all the time, and so if a lot of people have had an issue with that, and there's nothing I can do about that because that's my livelihood and that's how I pay my
That's
bills.
you're an
So
entrepreneur,
I'm
yeah.
gonna put it first.
Sure.
Even though I am working more on taking more time off and having more of a life, but at the end of the day,
It is what
you-
it is right now.
yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
date a guy that had no money? Like a guy that was like doing a startup? Be honest about this.
I
ladies.
was just talking about this with someone yesterday.
Talk it out, Kayla. Yeah.
My friend told me he had a friend of his that thought I was cute, and he was like, he's loaded, he's really wealthy, whatever. That's great. I know who he is. I don't find him attractive. That's not going to work for me.
Right.
If he has no money and I'm not taking care of you, that doesn't bother me. I'm not taking care of you.
That's a good point right there.
But you have to have enough. You have to have enough. Like, okay, I feel like you don't have to have money, girl or guy. However, you should have. You should be creative.
Should have some hustle.
And
Yeah.
yes, like you need to be like if you're
You gotta have
working for a
something you're doing.
nonprofit. Yes, you have to have goals and you have to have something you're doing.
Yeah.
And then if you can't take me out to a fancy restaurant, which I don't like anyway, at least get creative. Like do a picnic. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Be creative, right? Yeah. Because I think guys with money, I've never dated
Yeah,
guys
I
with
don't.
money personally.
And hot boy problems is another thing.
Hot boy problems? What are those? Wait, what do you mean?
That makes sense, but that's almost the same as hot girl problems.
Wait, what are these
Yeah, for
problems?
other
Wait, I want to
Hot boy
know.
problems.
I
It's
mean,
like
pretty
this
people
super- yeah.
have an entitlement to them.
Yeah.
That I'm pretty, so they have like that air of I'm better than you, or you should be doing this for me type of
Yeah.
thing. So
Oh,
that,
like take care of me.
like because I could always get somebody better than
Ew.
you.
Yeah.
Because like, do you see me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
You're
that
welcome that I'm
attitude.
sitting here right now.
It's
Yeah.
that attitude. Yes,
Got
yes, exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
No, thank you.
And that doesn't mean to say that that's all pretty people, because
There
many
are
pretty
some
people
good
have
ones.
insecurities. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a flip side to that for sure. But that is the stereotype.
Like like they're high maintenance pretty, or like are they just pretty?
I mean, a pretty person is a pretty person.
But
Like
we're all
Brad,
pretty
Brad
people.
Pitt is a pretty
No,
man.
they're like
Oh,
model-esque.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they work on that? Brad doesn't work.
Cindy Crawford is a pretty woman. That's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
Okay.
issue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So she probably had to deal with a lot of people hitting on her, whether she cared to or
Right.
not.
Okay.
But
But I'm going to ask
I'm thinking
Raul
she's
when
a
we
nice
speak
person,
to him.
right? I'm sure these are nice people we're talking about here. I'm not saying that they had that concept, but like some people growing up with that whole face look can get caught up in all that and then turn into shitty people.
Well, I'm going to ask when we talk to Raul about the male part of dating is does he even approach extra pretty women? Because I know some pretty women that are really sweet and they're like, men don't even approach me, because they are so pretty and they just expect them to be like that.
Well, I think that
Right. Here we go. I love when Vanessa has that laugh. I love that. Here we go. That grin.
well, because I know Raul well enough to maybe
oh.
have an answer to that, but he'll answer that.
Okay.
So, but I think following that train of thought that like it depends, about confidence and insecurities and things like that. That could be because they have that whole rating system of guys that, you know, and be like, that's an A. I could never be in that A, like that ballpark right there. So I never even go or talk to that person. When they probably could if they just had the confidence to talk about them, because they're probably, you know, they think they're ugly, but they're not. They're handsome, or they're different looking, or, you know, that there's always that thing. But I feel like that kind of approach is now out of the picture only because you go on apps.
Yeah. I mean, I joke with Louis about this all the time. I feel like I'm very basic for LA. And I was saying this before basic was like a thing, but I'm not like stick thin like all these girls. My boobs are real. I don't have shit in my face. Like,
Curvy.
I'm very like normal looking, is what I think.
Yeah.
But a lot of these, you know, pretty people or whatever the situation is, they want those stick thin girls with the big fake boobs, the big lips. Like, okay. Don't waste my time.
That's my problem too, right? Because even as a filmmaker, when you're casting, it's like all the faces look the same after a while, or all the bodies look the same because they have the fake boobs and the
number two nose job. Yeah.
So then you want,
That's true. Line them all up. Yeah.
But you know, so that's why I think you would be the unique and be actually more attractive, because all of a sudden you look like a normal regular person and you're pretty. So then they go, oh. You know what I mean? Versus the other where they're a dime a dozen. So then you actually get more respect than the dime a dozen.
I love personality.
I would think that was the thinking. But then again, I'm not a dude, so I don't know. They also want the easiest market possible.
Yeah, or they want, like, especially those pretty boys, they want those small little girls on their arm because that's the type of crowd.
So dick is small? I'm convinced. I'm sorry. I know they're all stereotypes, but like my husband's like, why have you never dated a bodybuilder? Your dad's a bodybuilder. I was like, do you know what it's like to be around? No offense, not all of them, but the dedication, the ego, your body all the time working out. Like, where do I come in? What?
Anger management.
Oh God.
The steroids.
Forget it. I can't even like go out. Remember my ex, the llama, the one that moved out. He was like, he thought he was like, he used to be a fat kid, and he used to think he was like the shit, right? Because he lost this weight and anyway, we would go out for tacos, and he'd be like, I can't eat that. That's carbs. I was like, do you want a beer? He's like, yeah, how could you ask me that? I was like, oh, you're so boring. Yeah, forget
There's
it.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Forget it. Okay, so anything else with dating? Because I want to talk to Kayla. I want us to talk about her product line and
yes.
And stuff.
Oh, I'm ready there. So, any weird like?
She loves it. This is great.
Well, because I can imagine like there's some crazy stuff that happens. There's some crazy motherfuckers out there, and so what is the craziest, weirdest, anything that has happened to you in terms of like a dating life?
I'm trying to think of my blog. So there was the guy with the feet. The first date I think I went on
that blows my mind.
After a relationship I was in, I found out he was a recovering addict. I asked him what his drug of choice was, just because from a personal perspective I can relate with a family member.
Yeah.
He said crime.
Okay.
I think he was like selling guns and washing money or something weird. So I was like, all right, this is not going to work.
Bye. Yeah.
There's always, I had a guy that I was talking with on an app that like was just constantly sending me photos of himself, which was strange.
Oh, that's dick pics.
Oh, I don't do dick pics. And if you send it to me, I will find a website to sell it on.
No.
That's awesome. I love it.
But you've gotten dick pics.
Not recently.
Is that still a thing?
So I've never.
Yes, because I've heard stories from my roommate.
Really?
Yes.
I've never had to, but obviously because I found my husband like way young and the whole thing and didn't need to do the dick pic things, but.
Like, I think one, right, just see what you're working with if he wants to send one. Okay, but when
what happened to just
send it all the
and,
time, like, don't you want to be curious?
First of all, they're not cute to look at ever.
No.
So, like,
penises are not pretty. Yeah. Yeah.
What happens if you get there and then you want to have sex with him and then it's like all crooked and little and what happens?
Size matters.
I gotta go to the bathroom and leave.
Have you done that?
I've done that when the sex was not good and I was like, oh, I gotta pee.
And then just said bye. You know what? I'm not into it. I'm bye.
Yeah.
Do you save their ego or you're just like, no?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've I've seen that before. I've done that before where I was like, and it was so disappointing because I had worked it up and then finally it was happening and then all of a sudden I was like,
Yeah.
oh, because it was like, you would think, and then...
And they can't change that.
No.
There's pumps that you can have, but those are expensive and they don't necessarily work. Like you can a pump, or you can pump your dick up. Sad.
Size matters. It does.
It does. Sex and communication are like the two biggest things, and if you don't have one,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
it's usually not going to work.
You can work with one, I guess. Okay, keep going. Sorry, I keep interrupting. My bad.
Oh no, that was, I don't know where to go.
Dick pics. The strange thing. So dick pics.
Oh, I'm trying to think what else.
And this is a new thing too, where guys like to videotape, or they'll tape with their phones or something like that, and then share with each other.
This scares me. I swear.
I don't know. There's some crazy scandalous stuff that's going on right now, especially with the teenagers. So remember we talked about the whole rainbow party thingy with the lipstick?
Oh yeah, that was on the SVU episode. That's the only reason I know about it.
It was in my lifetime. Yeah, I remember girls with that in high school. I was like, why?
Yeah.
I don't get it. What are you getting out of this? Ugh. Then everyone got mono from each other. just because. One dick and a mono.
All of this makes you not want to date at all. And that's a person who just didn't like dating, period, anyway. And I'm like, why do you want to do this? Which is crazy because how else do you meet a person?
Well, how do you meet people now? Like online, right? Because I was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I am an entrepreneur. And
Yeah.
that's how I met Chris.
Yeah.
But, and then because going out to in LA, I don't, what?
Mutual friends.
Friends.
I guess.
House parties.
But then that person's hooked up with that person, and there's drama with that, and there's no disconnect.
Small world, right, exactly.
Yeah, and then what's another one? Yeah, bars, you never know. And then
How about DMs? Does anybody slip into your DMs?
Yeah, creepy people.
that's how I met Lana
Usually
Boys.
like guys
Twitter.
that want to send me money, and so I'm like,
No.
I'll make my roommate
Thanks.
do something.
Yeah.
See what we can get.
Vanessa and I have been talking about the OnlyFans page. I'm gonna call it Only Me because it's OnlyFans.
Not only me.
About
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe people find love on there.
Blew my mind.
I doubt it.
Yeah. That's not about love. Yeah.
People find love at the strip club. You can find love everywhere.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if I've talked to you about this. I don't really know what I'm looking for, and I hate when people ask me that question. I was in a situation where I was proposed to, and I said no.
Right.
I don't know if marriage is for me. I don't know if I really want kids, but I do like the commitment aspect.
Sure.
But then calling somebody my boyfriend also kind of freaks me out a little bit, because it's...
Well, it just comes across to me like you're in a place where you're about your business. Mm-hmm. You're building your business and your brand. And so that's a priority. And then when that becomes where you feel like it needs to be and, you can focus on other things, that's when you'll open up to actually maybe having a significant other or just a boyfriend or whatever. Like, remember Steve Harvey's, what's his book? Think Like a Man.
Act Like a Woman.
Act Like a Woman.
Man. See, that's where my old school shit comes from. Steve Harvey.
No. But
Protect,
even
provide, and proclaim.
But yes. But even just read the first 2 chapters. It's kind of brilliant. Blow your mind because
You read the
he's
book?
like.
No, but I've read He's Just Not That Into You and saw the movie. That's also a good one.
Yeah, that is. And no, but the big thing that I left with even just the first chapters was people wonder what guys think, or women are always wondering, like, why do they think this, or why do they? And it's like, well, men just like you, which means that women can go through it too. They're like, look, they have to have so much under their belt, some success, some type of independence or whatever first before they can consider even having like a permanent girlfriend or a wife or, to support and all that kind of stuff. Because that's how they were raised, right? To be providers. And so that's why.
Yeah.
It seems like to me anyway.
Yeah, and I think coming from a Jewish family and the pressure from my mother and my grandmother doesn't help the situation.
Oh, well, that's
You
a
have
whole
not
different
met both.
subject. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, they want me married like yesterday. So.
Oh, yeah, barefoot and pregnant and totally, fully.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bama. Okay, so segueing.
Yes.
Okay.
How
now.
did we get into skin? Because,
Love it.
yeah, please.
Tell us a little background about yourself.
Yes.
So everybody can know.
So I own a marketing company. I've had it for almost 5 years. I specialize in organic social media marketing. So we don't use any bots. We do everything manually. organically to build that community for your brand.
So it's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I always tell my clients, would you rather have 250 followers that are engaging, that are purchasing your products, that are subscribing to your newsletter, whatever you want them to do, or do you want just a number that doesn't do anything?
Right.
And people can tell now, Kayla, right?
Oh,
they
yeah.
go on sites and see
But aren't
how
they
many
getting
followers.
rid of those now too? I mean,
They
isn't
go
that
through
part
and
of
clean
the...
out the bots. I think, and don't quote me on this, but I feel like Instagram's trying to figure out what's going on the back end with all these different bots, so they try to catch it.
Sure.
And because there's new ones all the time.
Yeah.
So I love marketing. I got really into using eye gels because I was born with very good skin, but I started seeing wrinkles and crow's feet and all this stuff all over my face. So I started using eye gels and face masks, and I was like, I can do this and put my own little spin on it. And at the time, my now business partner was quitting her job. Yeah. And I was like, listen, this is an idea I have. This is what I want to do. You can either do it with me and we'll figure something out, or we could go in on it 50-50. And she said, fuck it. And Glazed Skincare was born.
No way.
We had this on our other episode. I forgot what episode that was.
Yes.
We were having fun with this as well.
Yeah, so we have eye gels, collagen eye gels. We have an herbal eye cream, a clay charcoal face mask, but then we also have sheet masks that are from Lapkos, the K-beauty brand. But they did a collab with us, which is why our logo is on there as well. And then we have a couple of CBD products too,
which I will try all and let you know. The reason why I go to the eye thing first is because, yes, I've been into skincare since, I don't know, just like 15, 16, when you start breaking out and you're like, I need help. And everyone tries that Clinique brand first. I don't know why everyone I knew was like, oh, Clinique. And then I would just break out. Why? Because it has a lot of alcohol in that system, in their products, and I'm allergic to alcohol because I have dry skin, so you put even more dry stuff in there and then you break out, right? Because you're... Yeah. Anyway, that's how I got into it. And because I have Asian roots, have puffy balls under my eyes right here, and so I do almost anything to just suck it up and like... And the whole thing in eye gels do that. So,
love it.
I was like, what? And then since also cream... wrinkles and all that kind of stuff. I've been using eye cream since I was 15, 16 because I was told that you don't want to have to, do the surgery later on in life, blah, 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 blah. And it's always light and so cream. And then because my skin is super duper dry, I'm moisturize, and I am a serum bitch. So
that's the night serum. And then we have a CBD just face moisturizer.
Love it. So where do they find you, Kayla?
Everywhere. Let's see. You can find me on Instagram at GBM_LLC. It's my company page. We're also at glazed.skin.care on Instagram. glazedskincare.com is our website. You can find me, Kayla Perlstein. Tell me your dating stories.
Yes. Please. These are
Tell us your dating stories, please. I really want to know because I'm from the worst dater ever possible.
And I love them. I have too many to tell. This is Kayla's moment.
Super
I'm married and I
curious
try to black all that out. Yeah. I told you guys about the one I went out with. Did I tell him on this podcast about he was molested by his uncle and his uncle's friends? I was going to do, within 45 minutes. I was going to do a script that was like 2-drink minimum. Or 2-drink, it should actually be 2-drink maximum for some people. And I need at least 2 drinks to get the, He tells me within 45 minutes. Then he tells me he can't have relationships. And I'm like, I wonder why. That's something to tell therapists, not me. And then who became his therapist for the rest of the night?
For sure.
And then I paid
But that's
for drinks.
generally what she does. Oh.
Yeah, because then he tells me he's broke. And then I was like, I'm done. Yeah, I was just like a nightmare.
That's got to be like the worst of all time.
That was a really bad. He was bawling, and then he had the snot coming out of his nose. He couldn't control it. I'm just sitting there okay, I gotta go.
I almost cried on one date. That just reminded me.
Wait, what made you almost cry?
It was this guy that I went out with. His mom had passed or recently passed, and I was still really sensitive to my grandfather's death. And so as he's talking about it, my eyes are watering, and I'm like, I can't do this.
Well, that's nice, though. It's not like you were just having a bad day or a breakdown or something like that.
No, but
still.
It's I was kind of crying to his story of his mom, and I was like, This is weird.
This is no sex. This is not sexy. I don't want to go home with you. Oh man. Well, Kayla, I'm so glad you came on here.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us your thoughts. You did great. Were we scary? Were we
No.
as scary as you thought we were?
Did you say anything you didn't want to say about dating?
I didn't even get anything out of her. Next
Yeah,
time
I don't
we're just
think we
gonna
did.
Cry a lot more.
Like, I
We're just
wanted to
trying
get something
understand.
scandalous and be like,
Yeah, we were just
I
trying to
don't think I
understand.
have any really scandalous.
That's good enough. Yeah.
Kind of boring these days.
is it really? No.
I am. Yeah.
I
Not
mean,
boring.
it gets to that
She's
point.
busy. See?
But that's what I'm
going to
saying.
come into your life is all of a sudden when you're just like, I'm busy, I don't need a man, and then not that we need.
Well, that's what they say, right? When you're not looking, it like
After
comes
they
in
see
droves.
this, they're gonna be like, no.
No, it'll be good. Okay, well, tell us your thoughts. Let
Yes.
us know what you think. Write down below, and then yeah, you're not going on YouTube. Watch this fiasco.